Okay, so in our previous session, we have seen until this JavaScript interview questions. Okay, so have you practiced this JavaScript executor, how to use the JavaScript executor? Guys, everyone practiced this one, JavaScript executor? Because
Yes, bro.
yeah, this is very like an important one. Okay, so where do we use JavaScript executor? When do we go for JavaScript executor?
Basically, when we are not we are not having a proper path or not getting the proper X path for particular elements,
It's
right?
not like not getting like proper expert, but whenever we can't do like something with Selenium, then we go for JavaScript executor. Okay,
Oh,
because like even though sometimes like we yeah, the XPath and everything is right, like we may not be able to identify the elements, or we may not be able to work with the elements. In those cases, we go with JavaScript executor. Okay. Okay, so okay, now let's see like working with tables. Okay, so this tables concept is like based on some real-time scenarios. I have created these examples. Okay, and one is this. Okay, if one is if you go into this Selenium practice index folder, let me go here. Okay, let me go into C drive, XAMPP, and then htdocs. Okay, we have Selenium underscore practice. Under this, we have index. Okay, so under this one, if you see, there is index.html. Okay, this is the one like by default it opens like if you go until like Selenium underscore practice and then index. Okay, after that we have two pages here. One is tables and scroll table. Okay, so these are the two examples that we have. Okay, let me open these tables. Okay, just type tables.html. Okay, tables.html, it will open this one. Okay, and another one is crawl table. Okay, let me copy this and paste it here. Okay, scroll table.html. Okay, these are the two things, two pages I have created. Okay, so one is like a normal table. Okay, and another one is a big table where you have to scroll this table to get like all the values from the second table. And the next one is a table basically, but it is within the scroll bar. That means you don't need to scroll this page, but you have to scroll this table. Okay, so this is where like I have created these three tables. Okay, now the scenario will be something like you have to okay, we have like different payments here. Okay, different amounts here, withdrawal amounts are there, and there is a total paid amount here. So here what you have to do is you have to capture like all these elements. Okay, all these amounts, you have to sum all those amounts, and then you have to verify it with the total amount. Let's say the scenario is like that. Okay, where you have to capture each and every individual amount. You have to calculate the sum of like all these elements, and you have to capture this total paid amount, and you have to verify that this total sum is equal to this sum. You got the scenario here, or any questions so far?
yes, sir.
Okay, okay, so now let us do that one. Okay, these are the basically like these are the kind of scenarios like that you work with the Selenium. Okay, in the real-time projects. Okay, let me go here and let me let me yeah, let me here. I'm creating a new package here, and the package name is, let's say, tables. Okay, so now we have created a new package, and let's create a new class here, and the class name is tables1. Okay, or mm, tables1. Okay, and I'm using public static void main method, and let me finish this one. Okay, now we have this. Let me copy the first few steps from here. Okay, so I have copied that one and I have pasted it here. Okay, so now we have to give this path, right? So let me go into copy this path. Okay. Okay, so now we are setting up the system property webdriver.chrome.driver, and we are creating the browser object, which is driver, and we are maximizing that one, and we are opening this tables.html. Now what we have to do? First, we have to capture like each and every of this element. So okay, so we have to write an XPath for this one. Okay, so how do we write an XPath for this one? Let me inspect this one. Okay, I have this one. Okay, so I don't have like any IDs or anything for this table row or table data. Okay, let me go a little bit up. But if you see, we have something called table. For this table, I have an ID, paid amounts. Okay, so let me write an XPath for this table first. Okay, Control F, / table. Okay, tag name is table, and ID at the rate ID is equal to, okay, paid amounts. Okay, now the table is selected. Okay, once the table is selected, and then I have to go into each row and come to the last column here to get this amount. Okay, so how do I come there? Okay, so I can go with parent child relationship. Okay, parent child relationship I can go. Okay, so now the next child element in this one is table body. Okay, so let us create a / t body. Okay, now I came to the body element, and then I have a table row element. Okay, so table row element I came here. Okay, now within this table row element I have to come to the end of this one. Okay, let us say I use like the next element is table data, right? No, sorry, yeah, table header I have. Table header is mainly for this one, so I don't need this table header actually, because to get this amount, the last one is text here. I don't need the first row, which is a table header section is there, so I don't need this one. What I need is, I need this table data elements. Okay, let me put this / table data. Okay, so now I am getting each and every one of these cells. Okay, for example, if you see here, see, I am getting each and every one of these cells, table data element. But what I need exactly here, I need only the last one. Okay, so how do I come here to the last one? We use indexing again. Okay, so this is first 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, so let me use the indexing here, which is 5. Okay, so now if you see here, okay, I'm able to select this one. Okay, and there are 12 values it is showing. That means it is the 12 rows. Okay, now if I prepare this one, and if I go like one by one, see, I'm able to select the last element. Okay, you understand this one, this XPath. First I have selected this table. Okay, and then I am coming into this table body. Okay, and then I am going to this table row. Okay, and then I am going to table data. Okay, but the table data selects each and every table data element of this table, but I need only the last one. So now I got TD of 5. Okay, the last one, so I am able to select only the last one. Okay, so now I got like all the 12 elements of this one. Okay, so now let me copy this one, and I'll say system dot out dot println. Okay, and here I'll say driver dot find element by dot xpath. Okay, okay, I'm just trying to print the last element here. Okay, sorry, and then after this I have to use not just this one. Okay, after this I have to use dot get text, right? In order to get that one, I have to use dot get text. Okay, so that I can get the text from that class table. Okay, we have seen this one, this get text method. So I'm finding that element, I'm using get text. Okay, so if we run this one, what it will happen, even though it is showing like 12 elements, it prints only the first element here. Okay, because when we use driver.find element, it always gets the first element in the selection. Okay, now if I run the, let me quit this one after this. Okay, driver dot quit. Let me use some red dot sleep 2000. Okay, let me add this throws declaration. Okay, let me run this one, run as Java application. Okay, see, we got the first element value, which is 1324.54. Okay, now we got this one. Okay, but in order to add this value, okay, we have like two things. One is a dollar symbol and comma. Okay, we cannot have this one. Okay, we have to remove these values, or like let us say, first let us print like all these values. Okay, now how do we print like all these values? We have to go into a for loop, but how do we know how many elements are there? We have to use driver at find elements method. Okay, so I'll say int number of rows is equal to, okay, I'll take the same thing. I'll take the same thing, and instead of using driver.find element, I'll use driver.find elements method. So what does the find elements method return? Anyone? What does the find elements method returns?
Return a list
List of
list of elements, web elements,
web elements, right? So once I get the list of web elements, how do I get the number of web elements?
by using a for loop.
No. The number of web elements. It
Uh,
returns a list basically.
yeah,
So
yeah,
we use size
count.
method.
Yes,
Size,
yes, size
size,
method. Yeah,
size
yeah,
method. Okay, just like go through this collections framework.
yeah,
Okay,
sure.
so we get the size. Okay, now we got like the number of rows here. Okay, so what in a to print like all the elements, what we will use, we can use for loop for int. Okay, I equals to 0, I is less than number of rows. Okay, I is less than number of rows. Okay, number of rows, comma, I plus plus. Okay, now if I run this one, what will happen? It will print 12 values, but again here it prints the first value only 12 times. Okay, because it always gets the first value only, right? Even though we put it in the for loop, it prints 12 times, but it always prints the only the first value. Let me run this one and show it to you. Okay, see, it always like printing only the first value, but now I want to get the first value, second value, like that. So what I can do, instead of like doing this one driver, I can use driver dot find elements. Okay, driver dot find elements, and then it returns a list of like all the elements, and then I can use get. Okay, get of. Okay, I can use 0 1 2 3 like that. Okay, to get each and every element, right? If I use get of 0 again, it gets only the first value. So instead of using 0, I will use get of I here. Okay, so I will use get of I. Okay, you got it here. See, I'm finding all the elements here, and once I find like all these elements, I am using get of I. When the I value becomes a 0, okay. So now we have like all these elements, right? When the I value becomes 0, get of 0 dot get text. That means it gets this text. When the I value becomes 1, okay, it becomes get of 1, so it gets this value. Okay, so like that we can get like all these values. Let me run this one, run a Java application. Okay, see, it is getting like all the values here. Okay, now we are getting all the values. Now we need to find the sum of this all these values, but this is a text, and moreover this has dollar symbol and a comma symbol here. Okay, so first we need to remove this dollar symbol and comma symbol. Okay, so instead of printing this one, okay, what I will do is I will first, in order to get the sum, first what I will do, I will create a variable called sum. Okay, initially I will declare it I will initialize this one to 0. Okay, the initial sum is 0. Okay, now what I have to do, I have to, instead of like printing this sum, what I will do is I will just get the text and store this value. Okay, so amount, right? So I'll say string amount is equal to this one. Okay, now I'm getting each and every value into this amount. Okay, which is nothing but a string. So now I have to remove this dollar symbol and also comma symbol, and now I will be left with a space between this one. Okay, which is nothing but a white space. This is called white space. Okay, we need to remove this white space also. Okay, so now let us say I'm using amount dot, in order to remove the dollar symbol, what I can do, I can say replace. Okay, I can use replace method. Okay, and here I can, okay, I can use replace or replace all. Let me use like this replace all method. Okay, where I can pass a string and I can replace the string. Okay, amount dot replace all. What I would like to replace, I would like to replace dollar symbol. Okay, dollar symbol with an empty space. Okay, so first I am replacing this dollar symbol. Okay, and then I have to replace the comma. Okay, so now I am replacing the comma. Okay, and then I have to remove the white space that is left here. So amount dot trim. Okay, I am replacing this amount. Uh, yeah, one second, guys. Yeah. Okay. So I am trimming this one so that it removes the white space. Trim is the method to remove the white space. What is a white space? Any space before or after the string is nothing but a white space. Okay. So now we are getting like all these values. Now what I will do, I will have to add this amount to this sum. But if you see, this amount is a text here, string, right? We cannot add it to int. Okay, but we should not define this one as int, because we have a decimal points here. So the thing like that we have to define it here is, here we have to define this one as double. Okay, let's declare this one as double. Okay, now in order to add this text to this double value, we need to convert this one. Okay, we need to convert this to a double, this string to a double first. Okay, so how do we convert a string to an integer? Does anyone remember like the method for converting a numerical string to an integer? Anyone remember that?
Parsing, maybe?
Yeah, integer dot parseInt is for converting a string to an integer value. But here the string we have has a floating points. So we have to convert this string to a double value. So how do we convert? We have a method called double dot parse double. Okay, this will convert a string to a double value. So parse double of amount. Okay, now we have to add it to the sum. Okay, so sum equals to, okay, sum plus this one. Okay, sum is equal to sum plus. Okay, here we have to use like 0.00 because this is a double value. Okay, okay. So now we have to use sum is equal to sum plus double dot parse double of amount. Okay, you got it. See, first we are getting this text. Okay, and then we are removing the dollar value from this one, and then we are removing the comma value from this one, and then we are trimming it, and finally we are converting that value to an amount to a double value, and then we are adding this. So instead of doing it like sum is equal to sum plus, what we can do, we can say sum plus equals to. Okay, this is what we have seen in the operators. Okay, sum plus equals to double dot parse double means sum equals to sum plus this one. Okay, now we are getting like the sum here. Okay, and now finally once everything is completed, then we can say system dot out dot println. Okay, sum is, okay, sum is plus sum. Okay, we are printing the sum here. Okay, let me run this one, run as Java application. Okay, so something went wrong. Let us see. So that error is tables1.java 30th line. Okay, somewhere here, like it is throwing an error. Why it is throwing an error? Okay, it is saying java.lang.number format expression for input string dollar. Okay, it is giving. Oh, okay. So here, like if you see here, okay, it is saying that number format exception, because the amount that we are getting here, it is not like replacing any of this. It is not replacing any of this. For example, let us print this amount here. Okay, system.out.println amount. Okay, let me run this one. Okay, run as. Okay, and for identifying this one easily, what I will do is, let's say, some hyphen symbols I am using. So when I print this amount, it has to remove this dollar symbol and also comma symbol, and it has to trim this one. That's what I'm just expecting the actual amount here, not with dollar symbols or comma symbols. Okay, let me run this one and see what it prints here. See, it is still printing dollar and comma in this. It is not replacing this one. Why this is happening? Because, well, let me yeah. The reason is, even though it is replacing, we are not capturing that value. We have to capture that value again. So what I'm saying is amount is equal to amount dot replace. Okay, now it replaces the dollar with blank space, and then it captures into amount again. Okay, again amount, okay, equals to this one. Okay, and again amount equals to this one. Okay, let me run this one now. Okay, so now I am replacing this one with blank value, and I am capturing the result into this amount again. So I am using the I'm capturing those values. Okay, now let me run this one. Okay, again something went wrong. Let me see, like why this is happening. A number format exception again. Why this is showing amount is equal to amount dot replace all. Why this is not like giving this result? We are capturing this value dot get text. So $1324.54 we are, okay. Okay, so see, now the comma is replaced. If you see, we are not getting like this comma here. Okay, that means comma is getting replaced, except dollar is not getting replaced. Okay, let me use a backslash here, two backslashes. Okay, let me run this one run as Java application. Yeah. Okay. See, the reason, like, why, if we use directly dollar here, okay, directly dollar here, it cannot replace this one, because dollar is like a regular expression. Generally, just check this one. Okay. Whenever you are using some special symbols, check it, like, if you are able to replace that value or not, when, especially with this replace all function. Okay, because this replace value, like, it takes a regular expression, so dollar is kind of like a special symbol, so it treats the dollar value as a separate one. That's why, like, it's not able to replace that one. Okay, so in those cases, like, use two backslashes. In that case, you are saying, you are telling the program that, okay, it is, like, it is the actual dollar symbol, and don't treat this anything else. Okay, so this is how we can replace this value. Okay, and then finally we are, getting the sum of, like, we are converting that value, that amount value, to a double value, and then we are adding it, and finally we are printing this sum. Okay, do you understand this one? Okay, how we are getting the values from the table, and how we are, using this replace all function and trim function, and finally how we are adding, using this double dot parse double function, and adding all those values. Are you clear about this one, or any questions so far?
So, like dollar, some other special symbols will also be there where we have to use double slash before them.
Yes, for example, we have something, some, you will have, like, some symbols. For example, yeah, one is like a star symbol. You have star symbol also. Sometimes it will be treated as a special symbol. So just check that one. Okay, whenever, like, you are using any special characters here, not numbers or letters, but whenever you are using like a special characters, if you are not able to do that one, try it with, like, two backslashes.
Okay, so
Okay, yeah. Okay, so do you understand this one, how we are getting, like, each and every value and calculating the sum of, like, all those values?
yes,
Okay, okay, so now we got the sum of all these values. Okay, so now if you see, this is 299,490.67, 299,490.67. Okay, so this is equal to the sum, but we have to verify that one, so we have to get this value now. Okay, we have to get this value, and so that we can compare the sum that we have calculated, and the value that we get from here. So how do we get this value? Okay, let us write an XPath for this one. Inspect. Let me close this one. Okay, so how do we get this value? Let me inspect this one. Inspect. Okay, so we don't have, like, any ID or anything here, but we have a static text which is total paid amount. Okay, let me write an XPath based on this one. Okay, so span, this is span element. Okay, so control F, two forward slashes, span. How do we write it based on text? So which is text equals to, okay, so this is total. So we have identified this total paid amount first, and now we have to come to this value. Okay, so if you see here, this is span elements are within this table data element, so this second span, the value is a sibling for this one. Okay, following sibling for this total paid amount. So I will say forward slash following hyphen sibling colon colon span. Okay, I'm getting this value. You don't need to use, like, an indexing here, because we don't have many elements here, we have just only one element here. Okay, now we are getting this value. If you see, this is only one of one. Okay, this is how we can write XPaths. Okay, now let me get this one here. Okay, okay, and I'll say, like, driver dot find element by dot XPath. Okay, this is my XPath. Okay, dot get text. Okay, I'll store this one as a sorry, double, or, like, I'll say string, because this is a text like that we get initially. So I'm saying like I'll say like total value equals to this one. Okay, now I got this total value. Now I'll say total value equals to total value uh, dot replace all. Okay, and I'll use two backward slashes dollar. Okay, and I am replacing this one with an empty blank value. Okay, and then I'll use to replace the same thing for comma also. Okay, I'm replacing comma, and then I'll use okay total value dot trim. Okay, I'm trimming this value. Okay, now I have to convert this value to double so that I can compare it with sum. Okay, let us I'm creating a new double value. Okay, double. Okay, some TOT value, that's what I'm creating. Okay, so I'll use double dot parse double of okay, total value. Okay, now I'm converting this string, numerical string, to a double value. Okay, now I got the total value from the screen, so I have to verify this sum value with the total value. Okay, since they are doubles, I can use, I'm saying if okay total value equals to sum. Okay, system.out.println. Okay, total amounts are matching. Okay, else if they are not equal, then I will say system.out.println total amounts are not matching. Okay, so now I got the total value from the screen and I am verifying it with the amount. Okay, now let me run this one, run as Java application. Okay, it opened that one. It is getting the values like one by one, and it got like the total sum, and it also got the total amount from the screen, and it verified, and it is saying that the total amounts are matching. Okay, do you understand this program or any questions on this one, everyone?
Understood, Sibu.
Okay, fine. Okay, now listen. Okay, now let us see the next one. Okay, the next one is a big table. Okay, and moreover we have a scroll bar here. Sometimes what happens is like when you try to read the values from here, it may be able to read it until this value, okay, which is 21,000. It will be able to read it like successfully because that particular value is visible here. Okay, and then when it tries to read the next value, it will throw an error because that value is not visible. See, this 43,987 is not visible. Okay, and in those cases, like you have to scroll to that element, okay, to make that element visible. Okay, and you cannot use like scroll down to the bottom because again that value like is not visible. So you have to scroll to each and every element when you are reading this. Of course here like I don't think like you will get any issue at this in this one, but sometimes that's what it happens. Okay, you won't be seeing like any problem like until this value because it is visible here. From the next value onwards, like it says that like the element can't be interactable, or the it cannot find the element not found exception, something like that. Okay, so what you have to do, you have to scroll to that element each time. You have to scroll, you have to bring that element into view first and then read the element. Similarly the next element, similarly the next elements, like that you have to do it until you reach the end of the table. Do you understand? This one is mainly I have included to show you how to scroll to this particular element. Okay, now let us get the total from this table and verify it with the total sum here. Okay, verify it with the total sum here. Okay, now let me go here and let me identify the X path for this one. Inspect. Okay, so I'll do one thing. I'll copy the same program, Control C, Control V. Okay, tables 1, tables 2. Okay, I have copied the same thing here. Okay, let me yeah, first I'm opening. Okay, first I have to get the number of rows here. Okay, so first let me get this element. Okay, so this element is, let me inspect this one. So I don't have anything here. Let me come to the table. So all paid amounts is the ID. So Control C, Control F, two forward slashes table shift at the rate ID equals to, okay, all paid amounts. Now I got this entire table, and then let's go with the parent child relationship. So this is anyhow table header. I don't need this one. So table body, table row, table data. Okay, so forward slash t body slash table row slash table data. Okay, but again I have to get only the fifth element, so I will use the indexing 5 here. So I will get, like, all these elements. Okay, so now let me get the size, the number of rows, number of elements, like this. So I am just putting it here. Okay, I'm just putting it here, so that, and I'm using the size function so that I get the number of rows here. Now I'm using this double symbol. Okay, and I'm getting I have created a variable sum, which I have initiated it to 0.00, a double value. Okay, now I'm using for int I is equal 0, I is less than number of rows, I plus plus. Okay, and I will use the same thing. Yeah, look, okay. I'm getting the text, but before getting the text, what I told you, we have to scroll this element into view. Okay. For example, if it is like this, I can get it only until this point. Okay, until this bank transfer 21876.21 successful. But if I try to get the next element, it may throw in. Of course, in this example, like, you won't see that error, but generally in the real-time examples, whenever you have elements like this, okay, you will see the error saying until this element you will be able to read it successfully, but from the next example itself you will see errors like, from the next row onwards you will see errors like, okay, the element is not visible, the element is not interactable, or element not found exception, something like that. So first you have to bring that element into view. Okay, so how do we do that one? How do we bring the element into view? We have to use JavaScript executor for that one. Okay, so let us create an JavaScript executor object first. JavaScript executor, okay, JS equals to, how do we create an object for this one? We have to cast it to the driver object. Okay, JavaScript executor, okay, of driver. Okay, so now let me import this one. Okay, so now I have created this JavaScript executor. Now what I have to do? I have to scroll this one. I have to use the scroll function. What is that, like, that we have seen earlier? Does anyone remember? Okay, let us go into the, okay, this is where we have seen the JavaScript executor. Okay, so how we have created the JavaScript executor, and for scrolling to a particular element, we have used scroll into view. I think, like, scroll to, or scroll into view. I think that's the one, like, we have used. Okay, let me see that function here. Okay, so this is for scrolling to, yeah, so this is the one we have used. Okay, So we are passing the element here, okay, and we are sorry guys, okay, and we are calling this function scroll into view. Okay, let's copy like the same thing, okay, and let me put it here. Okay, so arguments of 0 comma scroll into view element. Okay, we have to pass the element here. Okay, the element that we want to bring it into view, we have to pass this element. So first we have to define this one. How do we define that one again? Just we will use getAfI. Okay, driver dot find elements dot getAfI. That is nothing but our web element. Okay, so I will define web element equals to this one. Let me import this one. Okay, so what I'm doing here, first I got the number of rows and I'm creating a loop here. Within this loop, first I'm getting that first particular element. How do I get that element? Driver.find elements returns me a list of web elements. So I'm using, on top of that, I'm using get method to get me that particular element, get of I. Okay, when I is equal to 0, it returns me the first element. When I is equal to 1, it returns me the second element. I'm capturing that one. Okay, and then I'm creating a JavaScript executor. Okay, an object for JavaScript executor, and then I'm using that JavaScript executor object dot execute method. Okay, execute method and arguments of 0 dot scroll into view. This arguments of 0 is nothing but the argument that we are passing here, which is nothing but the element. So we are passing this element each time and we are bringing it into view, scroll into view, and then we are getting the text here, and finally we are removing the dollar symbol. Everything else is same as the previous program that we have done. Okay, and now here also, like you may face this issue, because here if you see, okay, once you get like all these values until this point, okay, let me, okay, it will scroll to until this point. Okay, so finally when you are trying to get the sum, the total paid amount here, you have to scroll this also into view. Okay, let me inspect this element first. Let me get this XPath correct. Okay, this is all total paid amount. The XPath is all total paid amount. It's not like because this is from the previous one. Okay, all total paid amounts. Okay, now you have to get this element also into view. Okay, so what we have to do again, like here, okay, instead of creating like this JavaScript executor within the for loop, like let us create it outside of the for loop. Okay, because each and every time we don't need to create an object for each and every row. We just created this object once and then we are using that object inside this one. Okay, the same thing. Okay, again, like let me copy this one. Okay, and before getting this total value, okay, I will use this one. Okay, so in the place of element, what I will do is I will, sorry, I will pass this driver dot find element as well. Dot, okay, get of 0. Oh, I don't need to use name because I'm directly using driver dot find element. Okay, can pass this element. Okay, do you understand this one, or any questions so far? Everyone, please let me know if you are not able to understand this one. I'll explain it to you one more time.
Yeah, just can you repeat one more time?
Okay, so this is same as the previous program. Okay, this is same as the previous program where we have captured like each and every value of this one. Okay, and we have removed dollar symbol, comma symbol, and we are adding like all these values, and then we have captured this value and we have removed this dollar symbol and comma symbol, and then we are comparing both the sums. Okay, this program is same as this one, but the problem here is, okay, some of the values are not visible to you. Okay, you have to scroll this one. Okay, that is the extra functionality that we have added. That's all. Okay, so how did we do it? We have used JavaScript executor. Okay, so I just created, like, I just captured each element in the for loop. If you see dot getify, it gives you like each element. And then I'm using JavaScript JS dot execute script, okay, of arguments of 0 dot scroll into view, and then I'm passing that element. That is the only extra thing I'm doing in this script. So for each element, it will scroll, and finally at the end also, I'm using to get this total amount into view by using this start execute script. That is the only extra I have done. Okay, just practice this one and you will understand. Let me run this one, run as Java application. See, it is crawling like, the elements one by one, one by one, one by one. Okay, so if you see, like, it got like, all these amounts, it calculated the sum, and definitely this is 389, and this amount, like, if you see, this is like, 299 something, so it is not matching the value. But I'm not sure, like, why it is giving like, these many digits. I have to check this one, because we have only used like, two digits only, two ending digits here. I'm not sure, like, why it is giving like, a multiple I mean number value. But anyhow, this is just to show you that, like, whether the amount, how do we retrieve the values from a table. Okay, do you understand this one? We just added the additional functionality of bringing that element into view using JavaScript executor. Got it?
Got it, Shiva.
Okay, just practice this one. First example is about, like, just getting all these values and calculating the sum. We have used the strings concept in this one. Okay, and string methods like replace, all, trim, those methods. Okay, now you understand, right? Like, how we use the different topics that we have learned in Java. Okay, we have
Yeah,
used
Shiva.
the string functionality here, and we have also used the collections framework functionality, where we have used the driver find elements method, which returns a list of like all the web elements. Since we got the list, then we have used the size method to get the number of web elements. Okay, and also get method to get a particular element from the list. So we have used the two concepts, which are strings and lists here. And we have also seen, okay, the method double dot parse double, just like integer dot parse integer, to convert a numerical value to an integer or double. Okay, let us see, like, if I have used, like, anything else. No, we haven't used anything else here. Okay, so this is how you can work with tables. Now let me show you another one. Okay, there is another one which is like, where you have a table here, but you don't have a scroll bar to the page, but you have a scroll bar to the table. Again, the same problem you will face, because these are all the real-time scenarios, because generally in real time, like, you will face these kind of problems. Okay, so when you, like, come here until this point, like, this 14th row, until this 924.66, you will be fine. But from the next row onwards, you will see the problem here, saying that, like, this value is not visible. Okay, so you have to scroll to this one again. Okay, this is same as this previous program. Okay, let me copy this one, paste it. Okay, test 3, tables 3. Okay, so where you have to scroll each and every element of this one and get the values. Okay, let me get, like, the XPath for this one. Let me get the XPath for this one. Let me inspect this one. Okay, so let me go to the table here, and the table is again the same thing, all paid amounts. Okay, so I think, like, I have used the same name, so let me just change this one, change the URL here. So driver, I'm opening this URL. Okay, and so I think it should work here. Let me run this one again. If these XPaths are same, all total paid amounts, all total, okay, all total paid amounts, all total paid amounts. Okay, all total. Okay, so everything else is same. We just have to use JavaScript executor in this one. So let me run this one. See, it is crawling the rows within the table and it is getting like each and every element. Everything else is same. Okay, you got this one. We are just using one extra which is nothing but like this JavaScript executor in these two scripts, in the last two scripts, tables 2 and table 3. Okay, where like you see when you see the errors like it cannot get the value, you have to use JavaScript executor to scroll. Okay, any questions on this one, everyone? Like Ankur?
No, Subbu, exactly. After practicing only, I will just ask you some question.
Yeah, okay, just practice this one. Wow,
Yeah.
what we are doing is like we are okay, we are getting like each and every element, but if there is a scroll bar, it may give you a problem. So you have to scroll it to each and every element. How do you scroll it to each and every element? We have to use JavaScript executor. So we have created a JavaScript executor and I'm using arguments of 0 dot scroll into view. That particular element would like to bring it into view. So we are using scroll into view. Okay, and then I'm passing this element so that each and every element it will scroll into view. That's all. That's the only additional functionality that we are using in this script. Okay, so just practice this
Yeah.
one. Yeah,
Yeah, understood this thing, but the thing is only that I have to practice it
yeah,
to get
yeah, yeah,
confident.
yeah. Practice this one and you will be fine. Okay, and if you want to like practice, there is one more example like that I can give you, which is, let's say, go to YouTube. Okay, in the YouTube, let us say Selenium. Okay, Selenium tutorial. Okay, if you say Selenium tutorials, okay, you will see something like this. Okay, so if you see there is a scroll bar here. There is scroll bar. Let us say your script is go to this YouTube and get the titles of like all these results. Okay, but if you come here, okay, if you come down, okay, if you come down to the, let me move this. Okay, if you come down here, okay, if you come down here, okay, after like a particular number of results, again it will populate like if you come down, some more results will be populated. If you come down, see, some more results are populated. If you come down, some more results will be populated. So like this, if you see how many results it will populate, we don't know like how many results it will populate. It goes on populating like this. Okay, let me see until what time like it will populate this one. Okay, it is populating like more and more results until we get to the end of this. Finally, at some point it should stop actually. Okay, it is populating a number of results actually. Selenium tutorials. Okay, so finally we have seen this text which is no more results. Okay, no more results. which is showing no more results. Until then, once we are like coming down, it is first I think it populated like 20 results, and then we come to the end of the page, again it populated another 20 results. Let us say like we want to capture like all these results. Okay, all the results for whatever like the technology I want to capture. This this text here, the text here. Okay, of course this is a ad, okay, not the ad, but like the other things that we want to capture. Okay, so what you have to do, how you do this one? Anyone, how do we do this?
Subbu, I think we have to run a for loop and we have to use if else condition, and if you find that text no more result, it will gonna stop the loop.
Yeah, so the how we do it, like the first thing is you have to scroll this entire thing to the bottom until you see this no more results.
Yeah,
Okay, so for that one we can create an infinite loop.
yeah,
Create an infinite loop and use the JavaScript executor to scroll it to the bottom of the page. Okay, so each time it will scroll to the bottom of the page, and within that infinite loop we check for this one if this is appearing with this text, if this element is appearing with the text no more element. Okay,
yeah,
if it is appearing, then come out of that one. So at
yeah,
that point you will be you should have scrolled to the bottom of the script, bottom of the page.
yeah,
Okay, now what we have to do, we have to again scroll to the top of the page.
yeah,
Okay, because we will be at the bottom, so we have to again scroll to the top of the page by using JavaScript executor. And again you have to scroll to each and every, now you get like the whole number of elements on this page. We will use another for loop and get each and every title of this one. Okay, you understand this one, right? First, like just open this one, search it in YouTube and scroll it to the bottom of the page.
yeah,
Okay, and you have to use an infinite for loop for that one, because every time it shows like 20 results. Okay,
yeah,
so until you see the text no more results, you have to scroll it and then you have to come again to the top of the page, and then you can start collecting the titles.
yeah.
Okay,
I
just
think Subbu,
try this
yeah,
one. Yeah,
yeah, I think Subbu, we have to use synchronization as well here, right?
yes, you have to use synchronization as well.
Yeah,
Okay, just try this one. First try those tables thing. Okay, and then we can try this one. Okay,
okay,
and these tables, like they are kind of when I like attended the interviews, these are the questions like they have asked. Okay, the question is, let us say like I have a table like this. They, of course, the question they have asked is a little bit different. Okay, I have a table like this where I have different countries, different countries in this one, in the table, like India, US, Germany, Japan, like this. I have different countries. Okay, in this table, one of the columns is the countries column. Okay, but let us say I have a USA value in one of these values. USA is there. Okay, in one of these values, and I have a checkbox here. Okay, and I have to check the corresponding checkbox. I have to check the corresponding checkbox for USA. But I have, let me explain you. Just give me 1 second. Let me open Paint, not Paint, PPT. We will use the same logic for the horizontal and the vertical scroll also. Yes, yeah. Horizontal also we can use like the same concept. Basically, we use JavaScript executor only, JavaScript executor of scroll into view, and we pass that element. Okay. So let us say I have a table like this where I have different columns. Okay. And we have some check boxes here. Okay. And I have a country column. This is one of the questions that was asked to me. Okay. And I have different check boxes in each row. Okay. Okay, different check boxes, and I have different country names like India. Okay, like this, and I have something called USA. Okay, USA here. Okay, so now I have to check this checkbox, okay, where the country name is USA. Okay, but the problem here is when I refresh the page here, it is in the 5th position, but when I refresh the page, it may go to the 10th position, or when I refresh the page, it may come to the first position. Okay, it is dynamic actually. So how do I select this checkbox? That's what they have asked me. Simple. Okay, identify, write an XPath for this one, USA. Okay, how do I write this XPath? Well, let's say the table has an ID, table, okay, at the rate ID equals to that one. Then I use parent-child relationship to come to this value where this table data, okay, text, okay, equals to USA. Now I have identified this element. Okay. Once I identify this element, then I use pair. These are all terminals. So I use preceding hyphen sibling. Okay. Preceding hyphen sibling. Okay. And this is like the second element. So I'll use colon td2. Okay, so just write the XPath and whether it appears in the first position, 5th position, or 10th position, you can. And then we use since this is a checkbox, okay, I use click method on that one to select the checkbox. Got it? So this is one interview questions that was asked to me. I have a table like this where I have to select the checkbox corresponding to the USA here. And the problem here is when we refresh this table, refresh the page, the value the row might change. Here it is in the 5th row, it might be in the first row, 10th row. How do I select this one? Let's write the XPath for finding out this checkbox based on this text USA. So let's say the table has some ID. Okay, so / table ID equal and / text is equal td text is equal to USA. We are identifying this element, and then we are using sibling preceding hyphen sibling to come to this checkbox, and then we are clicking that one. So in that case, whether it work, either it comes in the first position or 5th position or 10th position, there won't be any problem. Got this one? So just try
Yes, sir.
just try that JavaScript executor and the tables examples. Okay, then you'll understand that one.
Shivu, like if the checkbox will be like is also moving with respective to the USA, then also it will be like having the same solution for that.
No, these are only checkboxes, right? So you'll have a checkbox corresponding to this country.
Okay. So
So
is there
we are
some example where it is like that will also be dynamic? Then what should we do in that case?
the same thing. If dynamic means how do we say that the checkbox is dynamic? You
No, no,
cannot.
like some other element will be there, which will be dynamic
I
on
mean,
that case.
it depends on. Okay, can you give me an example what other element that is?
Suppose that we have to just identify that we are only having that identifier for like USA and we are using following or preceding method to find
Yeah,
the above elements in the country.
yeah.
So India is like sometimes it has come two times above the USA or down one time down the USA. On
Mhm.
that case, how will I identify India?
So if you are having two times India, right?
No, no, no. One India is only one time, but every time you are refreshing the page, no, the
Uh,
column order gets changed. USA is
The
coming on the first position.
column order itself changes.
Yeah.
Then also that won't be any problem. Even if the column order changes, you are using the text here. See, I'm using the table ID property slash slash td text is equal to USA. So even
Mhm.
though like it comes in the first column, second column, anywhere, based on the text it identifies.
No, USO will be get identified, but you have given us example in the previous classes, no, where you are
Uh,
having a multiple rows you are having a multiple rows for a single table, and that only one table is been that installment one option you have given, no, that sixth installment is only identified, and remaining installment we have to go like preceding or following concept you have like taught in the previous classes.
this,
So
this one, let's say this table. Okay.
yeah,
In this table, we have this name Venkat. Okay.
okay,
Let us say I would like to get like, all the amounts that are related to Venkat.
okay,
Okay, how do I get this one basically? How do I get it? Okay, so basically I will write like, let me inspect this one. Okay, all, so I have a table here which is tables.html. So okay, so this is the all paid amounts. Okay, let me write an XPath for this one. Control C, Control F, table if that id is equal to, I have identified this one. Okay, now I have to go into this table and find out like, where the name is Venkat. Okay, where the name is Venkat. So I'll simply say, I'll use chained XPath here, saying two forward slashes table data. Okay, table data and text equals to Venkat. Okay, see how many elements I got? I got like 39 elements in this one. So if I keep on like, pressing enter, okay, see it is identifying all the rows where that name is Venkat. So like this, there are 39 rows. Okay, now I want to find out like, I want to get like only those amounts that are paid to Venkat. So I can come here now, I can use following hyphen sibling. Okay, tab following hyphen sibling colon table data of 2. Okay, now I get like, all the payments related to Venkat. Is that what your question is? I mean, I didn't get you like, your question correctly. Okay, so now we have a table where we have like, payments for multiple persons. Okay, so now what is your question here on this one?
so actually, my question was not this one. You are
Mm-hmm.
like in the previous classes, you have taught that in the sum of that condition,
Mm-hmm.
if some column is given and you can identify only one thing out of that column, or you not be able to identify other things. So
Okay,
on
can
the
you tell me
basis
like,
of
which in which topic like, have mentioned that one?
like that you have given the example of that, no, that website you have given us, no, which you have created to practice on that
Okay,
that installment, fixed installment, sixth installment was there, no. Can
which
you
web
just open that website on like what you where we are practicing?
car rental website? Is this the
No,
one?
no, no. The other one that you have created by your own.
Okay, which is
Yeah,
this one?
yeah. This first amount, enter amounts you have written, no? Here in the
Yeah, yeah,
left, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Down that pending finding siblings.
Okay.
Yeah, the sixth amount is there, no? On the basis of sixth amount only, we are able to find all of the other elements,
Yes, yeah.
because we are not having any kind of an. So in this case, if this table is dynamic, like if sixth element is identified, and first and second and third and fourth and fifth like changing their position every time the page got refreshed.
Then, okay, so let us say these values are changing here. Like, the first
Yeah,
month amount, it may come into the
yeah,
third place, and third month
yeah,
amount may come into the first
yeah,
place,
Yeah,
right?
after refresh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. If it is dynamic, then you cannot go with this preceding sibling by identifying this value. We
Okay.
have to use a different a different approach to find that element.
Yeah.
Okay. So suppose, for example, okay. So when I use preceding or preceding sibling or following sibling, I use indexing.
Yeah.
Okay. So following sibling indexing, one is this one, two is this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
When I use two, it always
Yeah.
enters a value into this one only. But if
Yeah.
this row itself is dynamic, where
Yeah.
sometimes it is eighth element, eighth
Yeah.
month amount, and sometimes it might be 12th month amount. So it will enter
Yeah.
into the 12th month amount instead of eighth month amount, because I'm
Yeah.
using indexing here. So I cannot
Yeah.
use following siblings in that case. Okay,
Yeah.
you have to use a different approach for that one. What will
Okay.
be the different approach in that case? Okay, so if you see
Yeah.
this, see, I have this 8 month amount is there. Okay, beside this 8 month amount, I have a checkbox here. Sorry, I
Okay.
have a text box here. So
Okay.
based on this text, 8 month amount, because the text will be same, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, and based on this, I will identify this table data element, and then I will use a following hyphen sibling on that one. Okay, and then I will use parent child relationship to find the input.
Yeah, got it now, I think.
Got that one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, even if this 8 month amount is also dynamic, then we cannot automate that one at all.
Okay.
If everything is dynamic, definitely you cannot automate that.
Okay. Okay.
Everything is
Okay.
dynamic. Okay, so that is,
Okay.
if something is changing, okay, in this case, okay, you cannot, if it is changing, you cannot use the following hyphen sibling. You have to you have to find a way, find an X path using which you will be able to identify that particular element.
Okay. Got it now.
Okay,
Yes.
just practice, all these examples, how to use the JavaScript executor. Okay, just practice these tables examples mainly. Okay, those
Okay.
are
Sure.
kind of like a real-time scenarios.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So now the core Selenium is completed for us. Okay, the core Selenium, we have discussed about all these different things, how to run our scripts on different browsers, and what are the different WebDriver navigate methods, different basic HTML concepts we have covered, and also the locator techniques. Okay, the 8 different locator techniques we have covered, and the main ones is XPath and CSS selector. Okay, out of which in XPath itself we have covered around 15 ways of writing an XPath. Okay, and then the find element method we have seen. Okay, what are the different methods that we have that we can use on top of find element, like send keys, click. Okay, all those things we have seen. Get text, get attributes, all those things we have seen. Find elements method we have seen. Okay, and we how to work with text areas, checkboxes, radio buttons, drop selects, and how to work with JavaScript alerts. We have to first switch to the that, and then we can use dismiss words, and how to check if an element is there on a page or not, and how to use keyboard keys. We have seen this one. Okay, using keys class we can use keyboard keys. Okay, and then we have seen actions class. Action class is mainly used to work with your mouse. That means if you want to move your mouse, we will use actions class, and also drag and drop operations and all those things. Okay, we have seen under the actions class. And then we have seen how to move to child, how to work with child windows. Okay, first we have to get the parent window handles, and then we have to get once we click at the once the child window is opened, we have to get all the window handles, and then we can use, because it basically returns a set, we can use remove all method, and then we can use iterator.next method to get the particular child window handle, and then we can use driver.switch to dot window of that window handle to move that to that particular child window. We have seen that one, and we have seen how to work with the frames. Okay, when we have frame inside frame, how to work with them. Okay, and we have seen how to come out of the frame, switch to that parent frame or switch to that default content. Okay, so those things we have seen, and we have seen how to upload images. Okay, if it is a normal type is equal to file image, input type is equal to file image, we can directly use send keys method, or if it is not a normal one, then we have to use auto it. Okay, that one we have seen. We have seen how to work with cookies, how to disable the push notifications, how to accept and secure certificates, all this, and how to use them. And we have seen about JavaScript executor, how to use JavaScript executor. And then finally we have seen how to work with the tables. Okay, so this is all about core Selenium. Okay, if this is done it is almost 70% of your Selenium is done. Okay, so whatever you have learned so far, practice all these things carefully. Okay, most of the questions interview questions, when you are going with 2 years of experience or 3 years 4 years experience, you get most of the interview questions from what are the Java topics that we have seen and what are the Selenium topics that we have seen. Okay, and now all the other things that we are going to see, that the page object model, Excel operations, TestNG, Maven, Log4j2, Jenkins database testing framework, okay, hybrid small project, and extent reports. These are not kind of a core reports, but these are additional topics that we'll be seeing. Okay, but most of the you'll get definitely get some questions what is page object model, or what is page factory, or how do you read the data from Excel. Testing, you definitely will get some questions, but the basic core Selenium is completed now. Okay, so practice all these examples that we have discussed. Okay, so tomorrow I'll be starting with page object model. Okay, what is page object model and all these things, but before that I'll give you an exercise. Okay, so earlier I give you an exercise where you have where you have where I asked you to go into each and every page and verify this page, that you are landing on that page. Okay, and one more exercise I will give you. Verify this navigation bar to make sure that it has this home, about us, car listing, facts, and contact us links. Okay, verify this home page. Okay, and create another script where, okay, just click on this login or register button and click on this sign up button. Okay, and enter this full name, mobile number, and all these things, and click on sign up. Okay, for example, some full name is ABCD 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Okay, some email ID. Okay, some password. Okay, okay, and agree with them. Click on sign up and verify that you are receiving this registration successful. Now you can log in message. Okay, so these are the two scripts, just do them. Okay, one is go to each I think you have already done the script where you have to go to each and every page and verify that you are landing on the page. And the next script is verify that on the navigation bar you have this these links. And the next script is click on this login or register button, click on this sign up here, and then enter all these values. Okay, so that is the exercise I'm giving, and based on that, I'll show you what is page object. Let me give you a brief explanation about page. What is page object? Okay, so let's say you have written where you are going to each and every page and you are verifying that you are landing. Is anyone done with that script? Go to and every page and you have to verify that you are on that page. Anyone did that script? Anyone did that exercise? Ankur, Suman, Ramesh, Gautam.
No, Subbu, actually, I'm shifting my house. Like,
Okay, yeah. So yeah, just like practice it like with this one.
yes, sir.
Okay.
Today I will do it. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So
Mm.
just try these three different scripts. Okay, that's the exercise
Sure.
for you. Okay, for everyone, just try these three different scripts. Okay, one is you have to go into like in each and every page and verify that you are on that page. And the next one is you have to verify the navigation bar that those filings are there. And the next one is you have to click on the login or sign up button, and then again you have to click on that sign up link, and then you have to enter all the details there, and you have to register a new user and verify that it is giving the alert message new user registered successfully or anything. Okay, that is what you have to do. Okay, these three scripts. Okay, now coming to the page object model, let us say you have written like 100 scripts like this, 100 scripts. Okay, 100 automation scripts you have written. Okay, in each of those scripts, let's say you are finding an element and you are using that element based on this id property. Based on its id property, you are, let us say, like um, let me show you this one. Okay, let me car rental. Okay, let us say you have this link, you have this page. Okay, in order to work with the admin functionality, definitely you have to log in first, right? You have to log in. Okay, and so you'll use this username and you use you and you find this username. Let us say you find this username. Okay, so based on this your name is equal to username. Based on this name property, you are finding this one and you are entering admin, and then you are entering the password, you are clicking login, you are doing it uh, test using your automation script, and you are logging out. Again, for the second script, again you have to log in to work with the admin functionality. So again you are like entering your username based on, you are finding that user ID based on the name property, and you are entering like the username password, and you are logging in, and you are like that you did it like 100 times. Okay, you are using that find element by name property in your script, like because you have like 100 scripts. So in each script you are using that like find drive dot find element by dot name 100 times. Okay, here the what is the value of the name property here in this one? What is the value of the name property? It is username, right?
Username. Yeah.
Okay. Now let us say that in the development team has made a change to this web page where they changed the value of that name property from username to uname. Uname. So what happens now when they changed the name property? You have used like that element.
You
Uh,
won't be able to access that element.
yeah, so all your
Yes, it
100 scripts
fails.
will fail, right? All your 100 scripts will fail because you have used the same XPath in all your 100 different scripts. So all your 100 scripts will fail. So what you have to do? You have to update all those 100 scripts, okay, with the new XPath where name is equal to uname. Okay, so it will take a lot of time basically to update like all the 100 different scripts. So what we'll do is we'll use page object model. So what is a page object model? It is actually a design pattern where we separate out the element identification. Okay, that means we'll create an object repository, okay, using page object model. That means you will just write find that element only once, but you will put it in a method in a separate class, and each time you call that method to return that element. So even though the name property changes in future, we don't have to update it like in all the 100 different scripts. You just need to update it at only one place. You got the point here, everyone.
Yeah, got it.
Okay, so instead of like updating it in 100 different places, we can update them just in one place. Let me just explain it to you one more time. The concept behind page object model. Let us say I have used this element, okay, driver, okay, dot find element by dot xpath. Okay, by dot xpath, I'll say at the rate in, sorry, not at the rate, two forward slashes input at the rate name equals to user name dot send keys admin. So I'm using it in all of my scripts. I'm using it in all of my scripts, and I have developed, like, some 1 to 100 scripts I have developed. Every time I have to log in, and then I have to run the script, and I have to log out. Okay, but let us say I have the developers in the future, like, change this one from username to uname. What happens? All these 100 scripts will fail because it cannot identify the element. So what you have to do, again, you have to go into all these 100 scripts, and you have to update this from uname to username to uname. But again, let's say again the developers change it back to username. Again, you have to go back to all these 100 scripts, and you have to update it. So to avoid this one, what we will do is we will use page object model.
So Subbu here, is it the most used element this works actually, like whichever the element that we are using in the script for
No,
more
no, no.
often?
No. It's not like, just like, for the elements which we use more often. It is for any element we use page object model. Okay.
Okay.
So what we will do is, yes, we'll create a separate class for each page, each page. Okay. For example, in this one, this is a admin login page. Okay. We'll create a separate class for that page. Okay, separate class, Java class, okay, for each page. Okay, now in this class what we will do is we will write methods, okay, to return elements, okay. So we'll create a separate class for this admin sign in page, and in this one we are using this username, password, and login button. Okay, so we'll use driver.find element method. Okay, and we'll create separate methods. For example, username. Okay, so this is like, return username method. This is one method which will return me the element, the web element for this admin username text box. Similarly, I will within that page I will create another return password text box. Okay, for that one I will return this return login button. I will return this login button. Okay, so this class will contain like three methods which returns me three elements. Similarly, I'll create separate class. Once I log in, I may see the dashboard. Okay, for dashboard, I will create a separate class which returns me the elements on that particular dashboard page. Okay, so every time what I will do, I will create objects for those classes, and I will call those methods to return those elements. So in future, if any of the elements change, I'll just come here and update this method only directly. I don't need to go into these 100 scripts, and I have to update, like, all the different scripts. Okay, basically in the page object model we create a separate class for each page where we write the methods to return the elements, to return the web elements. Okay, so that in future if something happens, and like, if the developers change the properties of the object by which the element location, I mean finding that element is failing, then we can directly go into these page objects, okay, into the page classes, and then we can update it once there. We can update it, like, there, just only once instead of updating all the scripts. You got the idea behind this one, everyone?
Subbu,
Yeah.
Yeah,
is
Subbu.
this the normal regular practice that they follow page object model, or sometimes they skip it?
In every project we follow this page object model. Every project.
Okay. Okay.
99.99999% we use page object model.
Okay.
Okay, so this is an important one. And again, in the page object model itself, we have something called page factory, which makes it the identification of the elements easier. That's all. But other than that, like this page object model means, okay, basically we are creating an object repository. We are creating separate classes for locating the elements instead of directly locating the elements within the script itself. Okay. Do you guys understand the concept behind this, the page object model in this one?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so in the next session we will see like how to create this page object model and how to create the classes for different pages. But just like as I mentioned, like we'll see like these three examples. Like we'll create like these three different scripts. Okay, where it will verify that like this navigation bar contains like these five different links, and also when we click on each link, second script is when we click on each link we have to make sure that we are landing on the screen, and the third one is registration of a new user. Those three scripts we will create and we will do them using page object model. Okay, just practice this one, but by tomorrow like I will create these scripts for myself and I'll come with those scripts, because if I try to create those scripts like in the tomorrow's class, like that will take a lot of time. Okay, so before the class itself, I will create those three scripts and I'll come back and I'll explain you like the page object model based on the three scripts. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Any questions? Anyone? Okay, just practice it like whatever we have discussed so far. Okay, because your basic core Selenium is completed and Java is also completed. Practice like all the examples that we have discussed. Start with like only the examples like that we discussed in the class. Okay, that is enough for you like to get through an interview. Okay, once you are like experienced with those examples that we have discussed, then you can go on like with other examples, like you can search like YouTube or Google, or like you'll find a lot of examples. But if you practice the exam, if you are perfect like with the examples that we have discussed in Java and Selenium, you'll be good. Okay, you can face an interview like confidently. Of course, in every interview you may get like a couple of like new questions, but again like that will be a new that will be an experience for you. Basically like what kind of questions they are asking. Once you like start attending the interviews, definitely the first one or two interviews you may not get it, because okay, even though you are not new to the software, but you are new to the automation interviews. Okay, so definitely that will like give you you may not be able to crack like the first one or two interviews, but you will get an experience. You will understand like what kind of interview questions they are asking.
Sure,
Okay,
sir.
yeah, so and then you can proceed further. Okay, I'll give you like all these tips for the interview, or like how to prepare your resume, like how to handle the interview. Okay, at the end of this course, but start like practicing all the examples that we have done, like that we have checked so far.
Sure, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Okay then. Okay, guys. Like, okay. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Okay. And one more thing is like, we won't be having a class on this Friday, because like, I'm going to my hometown and I'll be in traveling on Friday morning. And also next week also we may not be having like, one class on next week also, because I'll be returning back from my hometown. Okay.
So that is on Monday, right?
What is it?
Friday and Monday we will not be having the classes.
Okay. Monday you want to like, have a holiday? I mean like, because like Monday
No,
is
no, no, no.
holiday.
You were saying no,
No,
because that
not
is
Monday, not Monday, but
okay.
someday in next week, like, I will come back actually. So next week, like, one day we may not have the class, okay? But we have, like, we are left with, I think we are good at this moment, okay? Because we are left with this page object model, Excel operations, test ng. Maven, we have already started working on this one, so it won't take much time because it is only like, the only thing that we use Maven is for creating the projects and getting the required jar files that we need for our project through Maven dependencies. Okay, that's the only maximum thing like, that we use this one for. But we also see a couple of extra things how to run our test scripts using Maven. And then we have like Log4j2, Jenkins, and database testing framework and hybrid framework. We have one thing, and then we have like Git and BDD framework. Okay, so I think like this will take like around um, not a full day, but and then we'll start like Excel operations also. This may take like one complete session, and this will take like two sessions, complete sessions. This one will take like one complete session. This won't take like one complete session, but like this will take one complete session. Jenkins will take like one complete session. Database session and testing one complete session. Frameworks will take one complete session, and with all like whatever we have learned in these ones, okay, extend reports, and I think like we can finish these two in one session. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, mostly we have like till under 14 days left. Of course, like we may take like one or two classes extra, but we can finish like all these topics. Okay, but like whatever we have discussed so far, Java and Selenium, please go through those topics and go through those interview questions, and make sure that like you are good with all those topics and you are able to answer like any questions in those topics. Okay.
Okay, so
Yeah. Okay then. Okay. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Thank you guys. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
thank you. Thank you, sir.